What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. Welcome to another episode of Two Knicks Chicks. I'm your girl, Lady, and a chef, joined by my lovely co host today,
Diva 21, what's up?
Diva Locks. Happy Saturday. We have a lot to discuss with the Knicks. Um, February was an interesting month. Not only was it Black History Month, I thought it was a nice Black History Month. Um, it's always a great day to be us. But the Knicks had a very interesting month of February, as it was a struggling one for them with a lot of injuries at bay. The Knicks missing a lot of players. A lot of guys are banged up, which is in return resulting in a lot of players having to play a lot of minutes. We know Jalen Brunson was already playing a lot of minutes. Um, you know, Now Josh Hart is playing a lot of minutes. He's playing 47 to damn near 50 minutes a game, maybe a minute, maybe two of rest on the bench. And then, we watched so far with the injuries now, you have guys who OG Anunoby's out, Julius Randle is still out, Mitchell Robinson's been out for a long time. And now you have guys like Hartenstein who are struggling. Um, the Knicks are lacking the length and the height to get those rebounds. That defensive presence is missing. I think there seems to be, from my point of view, there's been a collapse um, entirely as far as on the offensive and the defensive end. I think the flow and the groove that the Knicks have been in has been missing, and that guys like DiVincenzo, who's still contributing, and Josh Hart has been able to step up and contribute in games. I just think that flow that the Knicks had previously, where guys like Precious Achua was able to contribute because of the way the ball was flowing and moving, it's not there. And it's not because it's intentional. It's just because of who we have right now on the roster to fulfill in for those missing players who are not there. It's just not the same. And it's not to say that this group isn't capable of doing that. I know Josh Hart said in an interview the other day that, we're not sitting around crying about us not being able to, pull out wins. We're just going on to the next one and to the next one. But I think there's a little bit of concern for me because we've been discussing in the last two episodes the Knicks standings in the East. The Knicks finished the month of February 4-8.
Yeah.
Not good. And this is why I kept harping on this is why the Knicks have to be very mindful of where they fall in the Eastern Conference. Because at the rate that they're moving, you're going to start slipping fifth, sixth, seventh. And, you really don't want to get there if you're the Knicks. So this is why I proposed the question our last episode. Can this roster of who we have now be able to figure out how to pull off wins for the remainder of the season? Because that's going to be important. And I'm not at panicky mode, but I'm still sitting here like, what's going on and what's happening? Case in point with the Knicks just playing the Warriors, it just wasn't enough. And that's what we've been seeing in these losses that the Knicks have incurred, is that who we have right now is not enough to get the job done. But let me ask you, do you think that who we have right now, can these guys push to pull out some wins? I'm not saying they're gonna lose every game, but can this group of guys who we have now on the Knicks, can we get some additional help? Because right now it's really only Brunson, Hart, and DiVincenzo who's really carrying the load. But what about Precious? Hartenstein is very in and out in limbo. We haven't been seeing the same Hartenstein. Burks has been a total bust so far. And Bogdanovich, I think that he's capable of giving you what you're looking for, but I just think because of the lack of the pieces that's missing, when you implement him, it can't really, I don't want to say it can't work, but I think that ball movement and being able to kick out and throw him the ball where he needs it for him to be able to shoot I don't think it could work with who we have now. But do you feel confident that this roster can be able to pull off some wins?
Well, I mean, I do because they did get some wins even when Randall went out. They did, win some games. But Hartenstein was healthy. So, it's a lot of things like that's contingent upon this play. And it affects the whole team, to be honest with you, as much as you don't want to, admit it, but and it's showing, so you cannot deny it. So, with that being said, when Randall went out and OG, because they went out just about like the same time, they did win some games, after, because you got to remember in January, although it was late January when they went out, but they were like 14-2, so they went on that tear. And then, February was just like such an up and down. Um, but even Hartenstein, he was there. So a lot of things is just so contingent upon, you'd be surprised like one player can just, disrupt the whole flow. Because Hartenstein, even when you look back in January, when you look at his rebounds, man, he was on a tear. So that's what you mentioned. You mentioned you missing that defensive presence, someone to protect that paint, and guys, so they just can't just come down all willy nilly, and just get a win. But as far as just You know, and to be honest with you, no, because just the fact of their record in February, four and
Right.
eight is like that's you won a quarter of your games, and so it would be a difference of you won half of them, maybe 6-6 or 7-5. I would feel more confident,
Yeah.
and not for nothing, man. And they're playing hard. The hustle is and the effort is there, but it's just the health, man. You got to get healthy for you to move on to that to get out. The get through this season.
Yeah.
So right now, me personally, I'm not, confident. Not that not pressing the panic button, but I just would like for them to at least stay, you know, um, within, third, and not fall into the play-in. Yeah, if they fall into the play-in, they may escape Boston, but that even still some I read an article, oh, that it'll be good if they were to go fall into the play-in. I mean, everybody has their own opinion, but I would just definitely like to see them at third. And and as far as like Bogdanovich, and I'm wondering, is his struggles is coming from, because he was a starter and he has started all his 400, I think, 52 games except
Mhm.
one. So it makes me wonder, is his struggles is coming from due to the lack of him coming off the bench? Things affect players in different ways. So is that it? Maybe so.
Right.
Maybe Tibbs, maybe he needs to like switch around. Maybe have Devo come up the bench just to see. He's known for playing around with the roster. Don't stop now. If it's gonna, if it's gonna help him, contribute and give him that leverage to get off to a good start, try it. So that's what I'm saying. Like the way it's constructed now, no, I don't believe that, what they got like 20, what they
Two.
have 22 games left. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's a toss up. It's I don't know how far they or how many more games they could win out of those 22.
Yeah. I agree with you. I don't know what is making Tibbs not want to switch up and play around with the roster when this is the perfect ample opportunity to do so.
Yeah,
When you don't have your main guys in, this is the time to play around with the roster. And I think a really good coach can make that happen because, again, I always allude to Eric Spoelstra. Like if he was coaching this Knicks team, even with all these injuries, he would figure out a way with these guys to construct and get some wins with this ending
Yeah.
of the season approaching. And I dare someone to challenge me to say otherwise because I truly do believe that with a coach like that, and it's no knock on Tibbs. I'm just saying that every coach has their different teaching style, just like teachers have their different teaching style, right? But I think if you had a coach like Spoelstra posted coaching this current Knicks roster, who we have now, he would figure out a way where you have a guy like Bogdanovich, um, Hart coming in, and Hart has been stepping up to the plate and doing what he needs to do. Same thing with DiVincenzo, who's been pretty consistent, and Jalen Brunson. But my concern with that is that I think Tibbs, I get the philosophy behind him playing guys, a lot of minutes, but at the same time, at what cost? Because you still have to go into a postseason and you need Jalen Brunson. You're going to need Hart. You're definitely going to need DiVincenzo. And like I said, you need Hartenstein. But to me, like I said in the last episode, I really think Hartenstein needs to be sat down. Trying to play him a couple of minutes here and there, I don't think that he should be playing that because I don't see the energy he was bringing before.
Well, actually, he did mention on X that he came back too soon and he wish he
Mhm.
would have stayed out a few more games. So let's hope he go back to the bench and sit out, a few more games and work his way up because you're a liability at this point, you know.
Right.
You don't have the jump, the lift, so I like, and you even said, and a lot of people said Hartenstein needs to just wait out and come back, rest, as much as he can. Um, and then come back when you're healthy and definitely well, if you could give 90%, you're not may not come back at 100, but definitely you're gonna come back stronger if you give your body and that chance to rest. And so he admitted that he did cut came back too soon and he wish he would have just given his body some more rest. So let's hope he does.
Yeah. I didn't understand why he was upset that when he came back, he only had, I think it was like 11 minutes Tibbs
Minutes.
had played him. But I was like, but when I watched him, I didn't see him playing at the high intensity that he normally plays at. So I didn't understand why he was kind of feeling some type of way. He almost was giving us a resemblance of Mitch when Mitch loves to go to Snapchat and file a complaint on social media and vent his woes about whatever it may be on Snapchat because Mitchell Robinson loves Snapchat. Um, but I just think that with the way this Knicks roster is constructed, I don't know if these guys, I think that they're capable of, and I know Tibbs said that he feels this squad is more than capable of, you know, pulling out wins. He said we're more than capable. This is what Thibodeau said, but I just think at what cost when you have guys like Josh Hart playing 47 minutes. And I get that the Knicks are shorthanded, but I don't know. I don't know where do the Knicks necessarily go with who they have here.
You know,
Go ahead.
no, it's like you said, what course, but it's those, and it's unfortunate other players have to step up. I mean, like Burks, man, between him and Bogey, that Warriors game, they were horrible. I
Yeah,
mean, they couldn't buy a basket. And it's like they have blinders on for. I mean, between the both of them, I think they shot like two for 13 or something like that, and then maybe one for seven from the 3-point line. So these are the guys that have to step up, and especially Burks. Everybody say, "Oh, he knows Tibbs," and then well, then if you know Tibbs' system, then you should know what is required
right.
of you to shoot the ball in the basket. not hard. This is what you're getting paid for.
Right.
So if you know this system, so you of all people should know what's required and what is it gonna take. This is no time to go into some slump. And like Tibbs always says, well, if the ball's not going in, it's the other things you can do. Well, Alec Burks do it. Like
Yeah.
again, you know the system, so you of all people know what it takes to, if the shot is not falling, well, let me see what other contribution I can make, to get us the win. And right about now, he's just not getting it done. And then both of them, I can't say. I think with Bogey, that was just a bad game, and even
Mm.
before that, like I alluded to, I don't know if it's because he's not starting, that messes with a person mentally. You don't know. So, and then Deuce and McBride, to me, it's like they can only give but so much. Precious even struggle. Man, he struggled mightily. So they seem to play down to in inferior teams, but then when you get somebody like a Warriors that's bringing you a challenge, like don't cower now. So it's like, how can you get them to play up to teams like that?
Hmm. But why do you think that guys like McBride, um, guys like Precious, they're able to play better when we had guys like Randall OG in the offense versus now when you're missing those guys? What do you think is the major difference and the shift in the Knicks playing the way um, they were playing with those guys in versus now? Like, what is the shift and why do we see such a the Knicks seems like they're depleted now? I get those guys are missing, but what has been the major shift and why those guys haven't been able to fall into rhythm now versus when you had guys like Randall on the floor, OG? Is it because they created spacing? They
Yeah, that's
stretched
that's
the floor?
that's what I was getting ready to say. They created that space, and they were playmakers, so sort of like made their job easy because they didn't have to score as much. They don't have to do as much. So salute, so it does make guys like a Precious and Deuce and perhaps even Alex and Bogdan. It will make their job easy because when you got your core players, like when you get OG back, even Mitch and Randall, you got to realize these guys have yet to play together.
Yeah,
So, when they come back as a healthy Knicks, you know, man, teams, they gonna need to fear the Knicks, and then and they will, because and again, that comes back. They haven't played, and so it makes their job easy because they're doing, the scoring,
right.
and it will make guys like Precious and not that he's, he had a bad game, but it would definitely help, him and even, Bogey and Burks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's you hit the nail on the head. It's the floor spacing. I think it's also the basketball IQ that comes from those guys,
Yeah.
where when you have guys who have that solid basketball IQ, they can make better decisions. And we watch Randall grow and make better decisions on the floor and not make silly passes or the timing in his shots or his passes or moving, into to spots to get his shot off. I think that accompanied with the movement, guys being able to knock the ball down, it allowed guys like Josh Hart, McBride, Hartenstein to be able to make those passes that he can
Yeah.
make because the floor is stretched out. Guys, the Knicks have many options and weapons, but I think that's all well and good when you have those guys healthy and on the floor. And when they're on the floor, I agree with you. A lot of there's certain guys that haven't played together yet. But I just think that when we had those guys playing on the team, you just noticed the flow,
Hmm.
and it was less of the offense looking stagnant. where where Brunson just has to kind of take over, or Hart has to take over DiVincenzo because there's really no other options to go to. So it's like, well, we kind of have to carry the load. But, guys like Bogdanovich, he needs those other guys like your OG, like your Randalls on the floor, so that way they can kick out and throw that ball to him
Yeah,
and he can get that shot off that we know he can make. But he
yeah.
can't do that with the way this current roster is made up.
And that's why, it's much, and there's a lot of people that are, that's not on the Mitch fan club, and I'm not, don't get me wrong, but it's what Mitch did, offensively and defensively. He gave us those second chance points. He was,
Mhm.
you know, don't kick out the ball. And then if Bogey's like on the wing, then or OG in the corner, so you can hit that three. So these are the things that guys like a Precious and Bogey, the plays that they are missing, and how they are not able to get their shot off because like we don't, we're getting, outbeaten, outmanned in most games for teams that we know that we can beat. But because we don't have, our full roster, so it's, it's like a fighting an uphill battle for the most part.
Yeah.
These guys, like, like Hart said, we're playing our butts off, and it's not a for lack of effort. It's just what we have, and this is what our roster consists of. So and I think that's a telling story of their struggles and woes.
Yeah. And I agree. I do find that the guys who we do have for the most part, again, it's the same three guys that I'm noticing that effort is being put there and they're playing really hard. But I just think that, you know, I I agree with you. You can't expect a lot from Miles McBride. But I do expect more from Alex Burke. I do expect more from Bogdanovich. And I do think that the last game was an off game for Bogey, but I do expect more because you guys have been in the league long enough.
Yeah,
And I need them to step up because I think when you look at the stats from the past few games, it's the same three guys that are contributing. But just imagine if the Knicks were able to get contributions from Alex Burke. Again, Alex Burke looked like he's still playing in Detroit. And to some degree, I think that he liked playing on Detroit because when you know what your veteran status and what you can do as a shooter, right? It shouldn't matter whatever team you're on, a winning team or a losing team. But I think him playing on Detroit, he was able to outshine, and come in clutch and give them 2025. Um, because a lot of those guys, they're good individually, but they just weren't good as a team. But I
yeah,
think when you come to a team like the Knicks, where you have guys who you can definitely see, like the Knicks have options, guys who can be hot on any given night. You know what I mean? Now it's not just a Randall and Brunson kind of thing. You have plenty of different options you can go to. But I think him coming here, I don't care how much he knows Tibbs' system. It's like you said, you should be able to outshine and play any given night. And I think
yeah,
with Burks, he just looks like he's still in this. He looks a little lost out there. He looks like he's a step too slow. I said this and I'm gonna say it again. I didn't like him as the backup for Jalen Brunson as the point guard. I don't like him playing that position. I think Burks is better as a shooting guard for us. Give him the ball, let him shoot. Um, I don't like that move for us. Now Bogdanovich, I do like that because I think he is a better shooter than Fournier. But I don't know. I watch Burks and it's very confusing. It gives me like I'm playing a video game and I don't really know how to use the controller, and that's what Burks looks like. It's all over the place, and I'm trying to make it stop, and it just doesn't look pretty. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. So I'm not really sure, what's going on with that, but we'll see. Injury updates. So from what I read, um, both Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson, who have both been out. Randall's been out since January 27th. due to the separated shoulder. Mitchell Robinson's been out since December because of the ankle issue. They both haven't taken any steps towards recovery as much as we thought they would
Well,
have.
well, actually, no, they said Mitch, he he's been cleared. Wait, hold on, because I saw something too. It
Yeah,
said,
but I
well, he's
thought,
out the boot. That's what I read. He's
mhm.
out the boot and he's been cleared for on-court activities. He's just isn't like sprinting or leaping. Um Now I don't know too much about Randall's status, and I know you have OG up there. If you could just give us a little rundown on you heard. I mean, I've heard something about OG. Um,
Yeah. Well, that's good that Mitch is out the boot because all I heard was that Mitch was just cleared to do like minimal
mhm.
um like physical therapy, like biking, very mild light running,
Yeah, yeah.
nothing like really on court.
Yeah,
And Randall, I know that they don't really want Randall in close contact. And that's the same thing with OG. So OG is cleared for on court, but they don't want him in any um aggressive contact because I guess they don't want, like with Randall, anyone to,
yeah,
him using his shoulder maybe in practice or, bumping other bodies. They don't want him doing
yeah,
nothing activated. And same thing with OG. They just want him, he's cleared to shoot and practice, but not,
yeah.
um,
He's been cleared for like solo practice and shoot, dribble, and pass and
right,
contact. Yeah,
right. So, and it's a toughie because I think when those guys come back and they get in real live game playing situations, you have to be careful that and hope that these guys don't make the wrong move and aggravate their injury, just because they're rehabbing and trying to get back as soon as possible. But, I don't know. Again, I'm not rushing for them to come back. I think it's like it's two sides to this. So you gotta watch the Knicks playing off the remainder of the season and try to finish off these remainder games and get a decent amount of wins. March they have to turn it up this month. You have to try to figure out a way to pull out some wins.
yeah, yeah,
Um, as the Eastern Conference minus that first spot, which is to Boston, it's up for anyone to grab, and it could shake up at any given time. And then the other side of it is now when you get, your Randall back, your OG back. We don't know when Mitchell Robinson could come back. Mitchell Robinson may not come back to the second round. You know what I mean? And even if he does, it may be on very limited, maybe 10, 12 minutes a game. Um, I think that, it's when those guys come back, can they give you what you're looking for? And I don't think that those guys are gonna be at 100%.
yeah. Yeah, I don't either. And as and Tibbs, he has to, which Nick said nice said, he said, I don't feel bad at all. He said, it's all on Tibbs. I mean, partly it is because and I get it, they playing, like I said, with the extended minutes because of what they have and who they have, but he needs to learn how to make adjustments. Because case in point, I was reading the article. It was Dubs Nation, article on that, and you know, we know Jalen. He's not the tallest guard, but Moody, like he said, he said, I got the task that morning, the day of the game, that he was assigned to guard Brunson. Why? Because he's 6'5", he has size, he has length. So you try to, match, you want to put a player like that on your best players. So
Hmm.
as a coach, Tib has to learn how to make those adjustments. Like, where was and I saw a few times where Brunson was calling for Sims, like to come up. He did it. He did it a few times, but like that comes from help defense. Like set that pick so he can get open. Not we know what he's gonna do, but when you see that matchup, then you got to make that adjustment. Because other teams are gonna do that going down the stretch. They what is the team's goal? The opposing team is to lock down your best player, and
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna do that with Brunson. So this is when other like guys have to step up, and Tibbs has to make that adjustment. I mean, I saw it and I've seen it in previous games too. Where the opposing team get their best player, not even their best player. It could be a player that has just length and just size on them.
Mm-hmm.
And you assign that task. So guess what? To make it difficult, force Brunson to take difficult shots. So Tibbs, as a coach, he has to make those adjustments. So that
Yeah.
that would be so interesting. But I've noticed it before though. But you know, so again, yeah, it is like on Tibbs as a coach. He has to, what I'm saying, figure it out. And he definitely
That's,
needs to figure out, what we're gonna do with Burks and Bogdanovich. Like they need to figure it out. That coaching staff.
but do you think that, like, because this is what I'm trying to figure out, like, re-harping on what you just spoke about. I agree that it is on the coaching staff and it is on Tibbs, right? But I wonder what is it that Tibbs, they're not, because as a coach and assistant coaches, you guys are watching film as well. So
Yeah,
now Cleveland is going to come into this game tomorrow. They're going to be very ready. And I think moving forward, a lot of teams are going to capitalize on the Knicks because they know the Knicks are shorthanded.
yeah,
And they're going to do exactly what you said, shut down Brunson because they really don't have any other options, or shut down DiVincenzo because he's their second best option. So now who do they really have to go to? But I think that there has to be like this stronger, like, I don't, I, that's sometimes like I wish Tibbs had that coaching style like a Eric Spoelstra, who knows how to adjust in
yeah,
game and make those adjustments where it
yep,
doesn't matter if we don't have Jimmy Butler. I'm gonna go with you, and this is what I need you to do for this game. This is what we're gonna do and how we're gonna play. You take it game by game, but this is the adjustments I'm gonna make, and I'm gonna have you come in. You're gonna play this role, and this is what we're gonna do, and this is how I need you to execute in this game. And throughout the game, when you have timeouts and you're calling those timeouts and you're drawing up plays or you're telling guys, get on the defense. I need you to crash the boards, whatever that may be. You whatever how you ever you have to coach to whatever capacity. I just think that Tibbs, a great coach, when you don't have your best players, and I understand the Knicks are shorthanded, they know how to make the proper adjustments. And
yep,
with Tibbs, I don't want to say it's necessarily a lack of coaching, but sometimes the adjustments, I don't see them being made in games because you still have weapons. It's no reason why you should not have production from Bogdanovich, Burks. Miles McBride should still be giving us at least 10 points a night. Come on. Like, we were doing this. Granted, when you had OG and Randall, those guys were able to contribute, minus, I'll say, Burks and Bogdanovich, but we know Bogdanovich could give you at least 20 a night. But what happened to that flow that we had? And granted, I get that we don't have Hartenstein either, but there's something missing, and I think a big chunk of it is Thibodeau, and the lack of adjustments throughout games is just, to me, it's not there. And I think that's something that the Knicks, they have to figure out as an organization. And I think Tibbs has to be better at. He has this very like old school style of coaching, and he's stuck in his ways. And right now, you can't keep relying on Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson and running them to the ground, almost playing 50 minutes a game. I don't think that that's the answer. I don't think that that's enough. So I don't know. I think that the Knicks have, they have some things to figure out, moving forward because you still have a decent amount of games to play. And, the Knicks have to figure out how to win these next few games. The Knicks just played on Thursday night. The Knicks played Golden State Warriors. Knicks lost 99 to 110. It seems like every time the Knicks got it to like 4-6, here comes Curry shooting a three, knocking down a three, knocking down a shot. The Knicks had no answer for him. And we all know Curry is really good, but he was mainly the main one who really put on a show. And then Kaminga had a good game as well. Um, the Knicks got outscored the first quarter, 31 to 19. Second quarter, Golden State scored 24, Knicks 27. Third quarter was pretty even. The Warriors scored 25, Knicks 24. And the fourth quarter, Golden State 30, Knicks 29. Um, for the Warriors, Kaminga had 25 points, 8 rebounds. Curry had a double double, 31 points, 11 boards. Clay had 16 points, 5 rebounds. Chris Paul had 11.6 assists, 4 rebounds. They didn't really have nobody that did much, but the Knicks was shorthanded. Josh Hart finished with a double double, almost had a triple double. He had 18 points, 18 rebounds, 14.7 assists. He's also the fastest Knick to get double doubles in a certain amount of games. So he's like the Knick quickest Knick to have done that and have that stat. Precious Achua, he's been in a little bit of a slump. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if it's the lack of having the right guys on the floor to play with him. I don't know what's going on, but we need him to get back to the flip side and pick it up. He finished
Yeah.
with 8 rebounds, 3 points. Isaiah Hartenstein has 6 rebounds, 6 points. Jalen Brunson finished with 27 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. Dante DiVincenzo finished with 16 points, 7 rebounds. Miles McBride did have 14 points. I'll give him that. And Jericho Sims finished with 10 points. Bojan and Burks, just terrible. 4 points. Alex Burks, 5 points. That's not going to cut it.
Yeah. They were
Not going
2 for 13. That's what I was trying to allude to.
not
Yeah.
going to you're not going to win games with just think if either one of them, one would have gave us 12, the other one would have gave us about 18. Could have
Yeah.
made a difference.
That's a deciding factor right there.
It could have made a huge difference. Field goals for that game. Knicks finished at 36%. Warriors was at 44. Three-pointers. The Knicks were 12 for 39 at 30%. Warriors were 14 for 45 at 31%. Free throws, the Knicks were at 70%. They were 17 for 24. The Warriors were trash. They were 8 for 16 at 50%. Knicks finished with 56 total rebounds. Warriors had 53. Offensive boards, Knicks finished with 17, Warriors 16. Defensive, Knicks had 39, Warriors 37. Assists, the Knicks finished with 23 assists. Golden State finished with 26. The Knicks did have 3 blocks. Golden State 5. Steals, the Knicks had 7 steals. Warriors had 8. The Knicks only had 12 turnovers, which isn't bad considering the Knicks turnovers have been high. But again, when the Knicks have 10 or more turnovers, they usually don't win games.
No.
Golden State had 11. The Knicks only have 44 points in the paint, and the points in the paint have been down with these last few games, which has resulted in losses. The Knicks usually average around 60 to 62 points in the paint. They've been at around 40, 42. It's not going to cut it. And then the Warriors finished with 58. So, between the turnovers, the lack of points in the paint, the Knicks just haven't seemed to been able to figure out how to pull off, playing better. And the ball movement isn't there. You don't have production from other guys. I mean, minus the Warriors game, I'll say Miles McBride, I'll take that. If he can give you 12 to 14 points, great. But the past few games prior, he wasn't even really a contributing factor. He barely gave you a point.
Yeah, well, and that also your bench. I mean, he's a part of the Bogan Burks is a part of that bench as well. So, you know, like you said, if we could have got 12 from Burks and you know even 12 or 20 from Bogdanovich, I think that would have been a deciding factor. And and it's I tell you, when the Knicks, when they get off to a slow start, again, it's like an uphill battle, and
Hmm.
then it's sort of this sucks them, and they play with effort. You see it's there, but again, it's like an uphill battle. It's like a tug of war. You get within 4, 7, and when a team is shooting like that, and I don't know what was they expecting. This was the Warriors' only trip to the Garden.
Right.
Of course, a player like Steph and you know even Kaminga, he stepped into that fourth spot, seamlessly. It was
Hmm.
just a matter of time before he he was gonna come into his own. So it's kind of the what's that deflating, when they just because that the Knicks are a better team, but just the injuries has plagued them. And I mean, Nixon Knight said he don't feel bad for him. I mean, it's not so much as you feeling bad, but you know that they are a much better team, and they, the capabilities there. But when you don't have your full roster, it forces guys to be playing these umpteen minutes because who else is gonna, gonna score for them? Yeah, but and you wonder why he has to, have the ball and have the ball. Um, he has to be dominant, and you know who else is gonna fill in for that scoring gap?
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
so you wonder why he needs the ball in his hand.
Right. Salute Rodney Coleman. He said, "Salute, ladies. I love your show. Keep up the good work. Thank you for
Salute.
watching. We appreciate it. Hit the like button, everybody. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Good morning to everybody. Thank you for joining us. Salute Coach R617 for joining us.
Salute.
Salute, salute. You know, I was reading about post game interviews with Tom Thibodeau, and one of the sports media was asking him, "Is he concerned?" And Tom Thibodeau responded, "I'm concerned with everything." And then they asked him, "Are you happy?" He said, "I'm never happy." And I just think it's because the Knicks have dropped 2-7 over its last 9 games. And, we're hoping that the Knicks can go into a deep playoff run this postseason. And it's tough to be able to see that with the uncertainty of when guys are going to come back. Julius Randle's still out with the dislocated shoulder. OG Anunoby still recovering from his surgery, the elbow surgery. Isaiah Hartenstein still dealing with the Achilles pain in the left leg. Mitchell Robinson, just starting to get clear to coming out the boot and being able to get on the court. Jalen Brunson had to miss a game for a neck spasm. Alex Burke playing like a trash can. It's just you don't know where this team is gonna go in the postseason. Do I have confidence that when these guys come back, that they're gonna be at full speed and get back to what they were doing? Yes. And I say that even with the guys coming back from injuries, maybe being at 70%, 75%, but I think it is going to make a difference. But right now, the Knicks are hanging on to the number 4 seed. Um, and eighth place is very dangerously close. It's concerning in that regard. With the Eastern Conference mashups, and like I said, any place second through eighth is really up for grabs for anyone. But the Knicks, I agree with you, Diva Locks, that they need to try to finish in the top, really the top four. Right now, Boston, no one's touching them in that first seed. Um, but the Knicks' best chance at staying away from Boston could be maybe if they drop to sixth place.
Yeah.
instead of trying to go and compete with Cleveland and Milwaukee. I think if the Knicks could drop to sixth, maybe they could avoid them and kind of get off to a different matchup in the first round. But things change quickly in the NBA, especially at this time in the season. It's anyone up for grabs with Orlando, Indiana, Miami, Cleveland. Everybody's, vying for a decent spot on the East. But if the Knicks lose tomorrow, they're going down in the standings. This is not me being negative, it's me being realistic.
Yeah, if
So,
they, you know, when just stay within the standards, even if they drop to six with the roster that's constructed now, I'll take it because then now it gives a chance for those other guys to come back, like OG. Hopefully, we don't even know Randall's status because you know Tibbs is so close lipped, and I get it. You know, um, he's very vague. He like again he gives these cookie cutter answers when or Mitch is out the boot. OG's been clear. I mean, and I get it for whatever reason. That they're so tight lipped, but and even when they do come back, now you got to build that chemistry.
yeah,
So you know, yeah, things that they may, but then you still got new players, Bogdanovich and Burks, who has yet to play with these guys. So this is something you got to develop with that. So again, now they're behind, but they can there's I can't even say room to catch up. You just got to just go off the fly, practice, and hope that I know they're learning the plays, without
right.
these guys, and hopefully when they come back, it could, be somewhat of a like seamless transition as just far as just playing together. But they have to build that.
Yeah, I agree. I The thing is that the Knicks can't afford to fall out of the top six because if they play the play-in tournament, one or two bad games and the season is pretty much over. And I think a play-in tournament is not exactly encouraging because then you got to go against the Celtics. And the Knicks haven't been able to beat them the whole season. And again, do I think that the Knicks will give a fighting chance when you have OG Randall back? You can get Mitchell Robinson back. Yeah. But I still am in limbo when it comes to that. And also home court advantage would be gone for the Knicks also. The
Yeah,
Knicks are not a playoff threat team without Randall and OG Anunoby. And I think that a first round playoff loss would be definitely disappointing. I just think that the Knicks are currently they're 24th in the league in points allowed this postseason.
mm.
And you can see the difference once OG Anunoby arrived on the defensive end.
Oh yeah, they were.
But yeah, it's been a huge difference once he arrived on his team. And I think the Knicks are missing that. And that also, his defensive presence also became contagious. And it was moving over to other guys along with Dante DiVincenzo, who you saw became very active with his hands. And he's able to see his man, see the ball. Um, but I think that even with a healthy Knicks team, going into a play-in against Boston is going to be a tough fight for them. And I just think that right now, I think Tibbs is concerned. I think the Knicks organization is a little concerned because they're missing so many guys right now off the bench. And like Cleveland is gonna tomorrow's game is gonna be a great game to watch because Cleveland has been on a run. Donovan Mitchell wants to play for New York still. I feel like they're going to want to show revenge after what the Knicks slaughtered them last season in the playoffs. So I think that, not having Mitchell Robinson there, Hartenstein not really there, I think this is Cleveland's going to really look to embarrass the Knicks. And I just think that the Knicks, there's not enough help. And again, we haven't really seen much from Burks. I'm hoping Bogdanovich could have a nice game tomorrow and step up, but this is not enough. This is not it. It's not
Yeah,
enough.
yeah, for sure. No, we definitely need more bench production, for sure. And Mitchell, he's resting because he's listed as day to day, but he'll be ready come game time tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
And,
absolutely.
it's so ironic. They lost um
The
their
Chicago.
first game, but best believe they're gonna be game ready come tomorrow. So
Exactly. Yeah. Salute Aj. Salute Jay Boogie for tuning in to us. As
salute.
always, we appreciate everybody watching us. Um, Coach Sar said it could move Bryant to the big chair, though. Could that be our Mark Jackson firing moment?
Who with Tibbs? Oh,
I know I need him to elaborate.
they ain't getting rid of Tibbs.
Cleveland built their team strictly to beat the Knicks. Yeah, the Knicks were just too good. Cleveland had no answer for them last season in the playoffs.
But
But
just if
I
they
think
get healthy, they still won't have no answer for him.
yeah,
And like I said, I like to believe that they saving these guys. They know that they're drowning. And they're out in the water without a lifeboat, but they're just hoping that they hold on for what even for the six and get these guys back, um, and try to make a push. But like for whatever reason, it seems like that's the route that they're going. I mean, not that you can force these guys to come back because if they're not ready, they're not ready. But
right,
I'm just, I hope, they come back, during the postseason at least, they'll be ready for that.
right. Yeah, I right now the Knicks need everyone back to accomplish what they're trying to accomplish. You need Randall, you need OG Ananobi, and you need Robinson to continue to fight your way through the postseason. And there's no question that the Knicks are shorthanded. They're absolutely missing key guys. You know, and I think that the Knicks trade with the Pistons when they got sent Grimes there and they moved for Burks and Bogdanovich, they were looking for them to almost boost the offense. Um, and I think you can get that from Bogdanovich. Burks, there's a question mark for me. But now it's because you're not seeing that from production from Burks. Josh Hart is playing 47 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's risky for the Knicks. Why are you having him play so many? And I get it that he has to play a lot of minutes, but it's just way too many minutes. It's way too many minutes for me. If again, I understand as the organization they're trying to push, towards that postseason, but it's very, very it's risky. It's risky playing Brunson, Josh Hart, even Chenzo, all of these minutes. And I get it. You don't really have many options off the bench, but it's very it's very risky, it's scary, and we don't know where this Knicks is gonna go with a very unhealthy roster right now. And the Knicks just look very depleted. Guys look really tired. And I know that they're playing through it,
Yeah.
but it just doesn't look it doesn't look good. Um, yeah, but Burks, I don't know. Do you think he can make a turnaround and that he'll be able to find his shot? Because right
Well,
now he just it doesn't look good.
I hope so, and I hope he can just give us 12 points, going down the stretch at least.
Mhm.
Giving us zero, that's not gonna cut it. Or 2 points, nah, that's just not gonna cut it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. For all of that, they could have kept Quentin Grimes. And you know how I felt about Quentin Grimes. I liked Grimes to a degree. He was just very inconsistent. And
Yeah,
that was a big problem that the Knicks had with guys like RJ Barrett, Quentin Grimes, inconsistencies. Hell, even when we had Obi Toppin, inconsistent. It was very up and down. But yeah, Burks, I don't see the Knicks keeping Burks after this season. He's just not a fit for this team. He plays a little too slow for me too. Um, Salute John 17. He said, I feel like Brunson gonna be on one though. He is due for a heater game. Maybe it can be against Cleveland. I'm hoping so. But here's the thing, even if Brunson does drop 40 points, 45 points, we know Brunson, like Randall, is capable of doing that. Remember in the beginning of the season when they were doing that and it wasn't a resulting in a W?
exactly.
That used to
Well,
annoy me. What good is all of
yeah,
those points if we wasn't getting a win?
but that's the whole goal. If we don't get that W, then I could drop 50 and 60. But if it's had for a losing effort, then you can have it.
Exactly. So it's like, why are we? But I think if he can cook and go off and heat up Brunson and other guys, keep them involved and they could be hot, then yeah, the Knicks definitely can get this win. And maybe pulling off a few wins will build that momentum for the Knicks. But right now, I think that the Knicks are lacking that team effort play, the mojo. Do you think it's also a confidence thing with these guys that they have now because they're so banged up that maybe they feel like this is all we have. We're working with weight. Do you think there's the confidence has gone down, the morale has gone down a little, or no?
No, not really. And this is what we talked about this earlier. This is what Rodney Coleman, salute. He said, I think right now, no, once OG and Randall return, Burks will fall into place. And that's what we was talking about, how these key guys are missing. So it makes, those those open looks, they're not getting them because due to the lack of floor spacing. So, and maybe Burks will, um, play better and fall into place once these guys come back. But unfortunately, we need some production from him now. It shouldn't take your key guys for you to give us 10 points, 12 points every now and again, and or to be consistent. You know, because if that's the case, you may not even see as many, playing much playing time as you would if these guys are playing so great.
Right.
So this is why it'd be nice if you can be consistent and give more production. But
Yeah.
yeah, to his comment, I think he will fall into place once they come. But again, we need him now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think that that's the biggest thing that we need the players now. Burks is capable of draining threes in a game. Um, but I don't know. He just hasn't seemed to be able to fit into the offense with the Knicks since he's been back. And I also think sometimes Burks gets himself in these situations where he'll be double teamed, excuse me, or the defense is playing him strongly, and now he has to force a pass out. And it kind of reminds you of like when Quickly would do too much dribbling. I noticed that from Burks also, that sometimes I'm like, dude, you're doing way too much dribbling. you know. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. I just think that this unit that we have now with Brunson, DiVincenzo, Hart, Precious, and Hartenstein, it's not it's not clicking. It's not working.
And then you can't even count Hartenstein. I think he's going back to the bench. I think he's going to be listed as a day to day. So I think
Yeah,
he's going to be, not playing as much.
yeah, yeah. John 17 said they have the scorers and shooters. It's definitely just a lack of mojo and confidence, but that would turn around soon. Yeah, I think once they get Randall, OG back, a healthy Hartenstein back, and eventually Mitchell Robinson back, I think that it will the mojo, the pace will pick up.
Oh
I
yeah.
think that guys, the morale will pick up. I think that the energy is going to pick up and guys will be able to get into the group. But right now, it's really, it's just not there. You could tell even with watching the games, the effort is there, but I just think that energy and when the Knicks finally found their identity and they were playing together, it's just not there now. So, and that's something that I'm looking forward to. Um, the Knicks play Cleveland tomorrow at 7 p.m. and then they play again on Tuesday against Atlanta, who Atlanta's sitting in 10th right now at 26 and 33. Cleveland's at number 2 at 39 and 20. The Knicks are still sitting in fourth at 35 and 25, but they have both Philly, who's sitting in fifth at 34 and 25, and Orlando, who's at sitting at sixth, who's 34 and 26. And this is why I say things could shake up because Miami was just in fifth or sixth. So yeah, the Knicks have they have to pull out some wins. The Bucks have won their last five. The Knicks have lost their last two. Cleveland just won their last one. Um, yeah. What are your predictions for
Well, only because
the next
the
two?
Knicks are banged up. What was that?
I'll say the next two for now, Cleveland and then Atlanta.
Well, Cleveland, like I said, because like I started, because the Knicks are so banged up. And Cleveland, they might have lost that last game, but when you look at their standings, they're ranked, pretty high as far as just like they're third in like field goals made,
Hmm.
they second in assists. And when you look at their net rating and things like that, so that counts for something. So I mean, to be honest with you, I do, and I hate to go against my Knicks, but hey, at this one, I'm gonna have to, it's a toss up, but I'm gonna have to go, especially because I don't know if Hartenstein and who's playing. So for now, and it may change, I'm gonna go with Cleveland. And for that Tuesday game, I'm gonna rock with the Knicks, with that Hawks game, and then they Orlando. We'll see. We'll see about that one. So they in essence they have three games this week.
Hmm.
Um, I'm a I'm a still bet on two and one. I'm a still because that Orlando. I'm gonna believe that they're gonna take Orlando. They're
Hmm.
0-3 against them, but
Oh, I'm gonna go. Okay, since we're including Orlando,
it's a
yeah,
part of the week.
I'm gonna go
What say
two.
you?
I'm gonna go two and one because Orlando's another team like Boston. The Knicks haven't beat them yet, which is crazy to me that the Knicks haven't beat Orlando yet. But I'm gonna go 2-1. I have the Knicks beating Cleveland. I have them beating Atlanta also. Orlando is a question mark for me. So I'm gonna go 2-1 for the upcoming games. I would really like to see the Knicks pull off and get this W against Cleveland, and same thing against Atlanta. But for right now, that's where I'm at. I'm gonna go 2-1, and we'll see. But if the Knicks can go 3-0, that would be great. That would be great. But I just, yeah. Nixon Knight says sit iHeart. Agreed.
But then look at this comment by Coach Saw. When do we call iHeart injury prone like people do with Mitch? Well, prior to this season, iHeart's been pretty, solid.
Yeah.
With his Achilles, he played in most of the games. I mean, I don't know.
I think you can't call him injury prone until maybe next season, and then you see if he's suffering from the injuries. Because with Mitch, he's been injury prone since he's been a Nick. Every season, Mitch has suffered some sort of injury. But I also think that, like, respectively in their own rights, they each bring something different to the game.
Yeah, they do.
But I think Hartenstein gives you a little bit more zhuzh. It gives you a little bit more to his game with the passing. I think they both are great blockers. I just think that Hartenstein's just a bit more mobile, and he can move quicker on his feet than Mitch does. And Hartenstein's also not afraid to dribble the ball. So I just think that, while Mitch gives great screens and the pick and roll, he's there for the lobs. He's a great defensive presence. He's great on your offense and defensive boards. Hartenstein could do those things, but a little bit more, just a little bit more. So I think that's, where really, but I think next season, if Hartenstein endures a lot of injuries or another injury, then we can say he's injury prone. And I think that's something that the front office has to look at, with Hartenstein in the offseason. Do you pay him and keep him, or what do you do? Because if you rock out with Mitch, you're stuck with he may be out again. So it's a tough, close call between the two of them, at the end of the day. Banchero kills us every time. The Knicks have no answer.
Yep.
And this is what we were saying with Tibbs making adjustments. Tibbs doesn't seem to have an answer for certain teams and certain players. I think Hartenstein should sit.
Yeah.
He's not
He
at
even
100%.
yeah, he
It's like
even
he's
admitted.
trying to force himself to, you know. Are you trying to highlight a
Yeah, I'm
comment?
trying to put this one up. Look.
Yeah, that
Yep.
was the same one I was trying to put.
Yeah. iHeart prior to this season, he hasn't been injury prone. Not at all.
Yeah. I don't know. This is a good question. Did they ever play Orlando with OG Ananobi?
I don't well, that's a good question. What's this something? Hold up.
But
That's
someone said that in the last chat about Boston. They were saying, well, we never played Boston with everybody that we have now. It doesn't matter. Even if we have everybody now, do the Knicks have an answer for, once again, I'm going to name the teams that we haven't beat yet in one game: Boston, Orlando, OKC, and Dallas. We haven't beat any those games, not one, those teams one time. And the asterisk next to Milwaukee because we only beat them once. So Sims is getting his reps. I just think, you know, Sims is not there yet.
yeah, for sure. Let's see something. Hold there.
Yeah, Achilles does mean injury prone, but it doesn't mean that he's going to have to miss a bunch of games. I think that he needs that backup play with Mitch or whoever else it may be. So this way he's not playing a ton of minutes. I think that's the problem. He's playing so many minutes, Isaiah Hartenstein, that, you know, this is why he's having to miss games. Um, but yeah, I got the Knicks um 2-1. I'm hoping we could beat Cleveland. And I really would love for the Knicks to really go 3-0, but I would like to see them beat Orlando finally. Like you got to figure out a way. Hell, Brooklyn beat them and tore them
Yeah,
up for Barclays. I'm not sure why the Knicks can't do the same thing. They're capable. They just have to figure out a way how to do that. So, we'll see. We shall see with the Knicks.
and how? Yeah, I was trying to look at something. I know they played them back in like January 15th.
Yeah, they played them that far back. I remember that. Do you for as far as what we was talking about with these upcoming games, do the Knicks should they continue to roll with the same lineup?
Well, unfortunately, it's like who else do you go with? I mean,
Well, you mentioned maybe start Bogdanovich. So should
well,
Tibbs
yeah.
get up or continue to roll with this?
I mean, like I alluded to, he's been a starter, for the last 400 something games, and he said he knows he needs to play better. Get better. Maybe shake the tree a little bit, and see, if that will help him. Jump start. Is I would give it a shot. To me, it won't hurt. And it could be messing with him. Who knows? Players respond differently to coming off the bench, starting, and things like that.
Hmm.
So,
I think Tibbs should play with the rotation and maybe try to bring in Bogdanovich in certain games. And in certain games, I think him and Burks would be great coming off the bench for that additional shooting you'll need. But I think that Tibbs has to figure out his rotations in these upcoming games, especially case in point playing Cleveland and then Orlando. You got to figure out a way how to make those adjustments to beat those teams. Um, Salute J Boogie. He said, iHeart is caught between I'm already not healthy, knowing this is my contract year. He has earned this money spot. But if that thing pops, it's over and he will become a 1 year deal player. Yeah, very true.
hmm
Very true. It's like a sticky situation for him and the Knicks, you know? Yeah. But this has been the issue with the Knicks. Orlando's a long team. The Knicks have trouble with long athletic teams,
yeah,
and they will. You see the difference when you don't have Isaiah Hartenstein or Mitchell Robinson in a game. It's very
oh,
hard for Precious, or you don't have Randall. It's hard to gather those rebounds and to be, I mean, yeah, you have Sims, but it's not the same to have that guy to be that defensive presence and be able to block, you know, hold guys off from gathering those boards, and it's very tough. You do see the Knicks look very small when they don't have that presence, that center presence of Isaiah Hartenstein or Mitchell Robinson.
yeah, yep. That's what we was talking about.
Yeah, he is. Alex Burke is playing out of position for sure. He don't even look he don't even look like he know what position he should be playing. And I don't know if he's to blame for that or is it a combination of him and Thibodeau as far as what positioning he should be playing.
That's a
But
coach's decision.
but I think that as a player, right, even if the coach has you playing a specific spot or whatever, you should still be able to find a way to contribute offensively. Like if you're a pure shooter, you should be able to come in a game and when you get that ball, be able to create your own or be ready to catch and shoot. And I'm just not seeing that with Burks, and I'm not comfortable with him playing the backup point guard. I don't like it. When he brings up the ball, I'm concerned. I don't feel comfortable. It's not the same as if when Jalen Brunson is bringing up the ball. It just doesn't look good. I don't like the way the protection of the ball, the decision making, the passes. I just like him better off as a shooting guard for us. And I think when Burks was on the Knicks previously, I can tell he didn't like bringing up that ball, but he didn't have no other choice. And now that the Knicks have a solid point guard, again, I just don't still see Burks playing the backup point. I see him more as a shooting guard for us and being able to catch and shoot, not bring the ball up. And now I have to be in a point guard mind frame and know how to facilitate the ball and orchestrate the offense. That's just not his game. So he doesn't look comfortable bringing up the ball at all, you know. But we'll see what happens with the Knicks tomorrow when they play Cleveland. This is for sure a game to watch. I same thing against Atlanta. You got to hold Trey. Trey
Yeah.
starts cooking up and getting hot. He's another one like Dame. Starts shooting the ball from the other end of the court like it's a free throw, like it's a freaking layup. He just chucks up threes and they go in the basket. Trey is like a troll. I forgot what Ebony called him because of his hair. It was so funny. She called him something, and I can't remember what she called him. I don't know if she called him Q-tip or something because of his hair, but you got to watch him. You got to watch Trey. He starts heating up, and now you're in trouble because he's very capable of going off and scoring 40 on you easily. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh,
if he starts getting facilitating that ball, and Orlando, there's a few guys on Orlando you got to watch, but mainly Banchero. He's capable of Trey is injured. What kind of injury he has?
I think his finger, I think he's out though.
Yeah, that's what mm. Well, we'll see. When players
Yes,
play the
finger.
Knicks,
Mm-hmm.
they'll tape it up and all of a sudden he playing. So we'll see.
Exactly. All of a sudden
We'll see.
he's good again.
Yeah, the finger is okay. So we'll see. This happens a lot, but yeah,
But,
as you just said the same thing. Trey not playing, I don't think. Okay, yeah. John 17 said, yeah, he's out for a while. Okay. Dirty lollipop. That's what it is, Nice. That's what she called
yo,
him, a dirty lollipop. I was like,
who called that? Ebony?
yeah.
Dirty lollipop.
Salute to
Wow.
Ebony and the Nick of Time channel. Salute to them. Rodney Coleman said Deuce has to play more and put Burks at the two. So you more comfortable with Deuce running the point than Burks? I mean, I honestly would rather that. If I had to choose, I would rather Deuce bring the ball up. He's not there yet either, but I'd rather him pass to Burks, who, and you know what? I can't even, Burks is, I want to say because we know Burks could knock down that shot, but maybe taking the pressure off of bringing the ball up, if he can be able to catch the ball and shoot, he can knock down much needed baskets for us. But I don't know. Salute Corey Lee. Salute,
Salute.
salute. Yeah, he do look like a dirty lollipop though. That's a great name for him. Nixon I said Josh Hart playing 48 minutes again. Yeah, at this rate, Tibbs ain't gonna take him out. I mean, hey, we was looking for that energy during the start and the middle of the season. So now that we at the end, maybe this is Josh Hart time to step up, you know,
Yeah.
and give the Knicks what they're looking for. No, Deuce can't set it up. But listen, you got to pick your poison. You want Deuce bringing up the ball or you want Alex Burke? I don't want either bringing up the ball.
Exactly.
But who do you really want bringing up the ball? I mean, or are you more comfortable with Deuce getting the ball in the catch and shoot and shooting the ball? He's capable, but who do you want bringing up the ball as a backup when Brunson tries to take a breather? He has to sit down at some point. I know Tibbs is not going to sit him down much, but you got to have some sort of solid backup. And again, I don't want either of them bringing up the ball, but I think I would rather have Deuce bringing up the ball than Alex
Same
Burke,
here.
you know? So we'll see. Um, but yeah, anything else before we get out of here, or did I miss anything?
Mm,
Like any updates? Well, see, that's good that we brought up Trey because I didn't know he was injured. And chat, what's your predictions for this week's games? I got the Knicks 2-1. They play Cleveland tomorrow, Atlanta on Tuesday, and then Orlando on
Friday, right?
Friday.
Okay. My prediction is 2-1 also. So, oh, Colts are at 1-2.
Wow.
Who's that one against? Atlanta.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I know it is.
Ladies, I want to let y'all know the butcher is coming. Who's the butcher?
Yep. Yeah, Colts are at 8. Yeah, yeah.
My wish 3-0. I'm not
Hey,
surprised, AJ.
same here, AJ, but I'm gonna go 2-1.
Wow, a few of you guys are saying 1-2.
I mean, in hindsight, I want to say 1-2, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and see if we could get that Orlando game. But they may shock us tomorrow. Who knows? I mean, we're banged up, but there's just something like because they fight every game. It's not like they not holding their heads down. They just and you see the effort, but because of the injuries and they lack the size and the length, that's what puts them at a deficit. But I, I can easily possibly even see if they could squeeze out Orlando. So that's
Yeah,
that's the only reason why I'm going going out on a limb. But I guess that's just me being just a fan and just wishful thinking.
yeah. And I think that's a good point you made. The Knicks aren't getting blown out, and someone said that in the chat, which is true.
Yeah.
You know, they're
Hmm.
not, they're still competing. This team is very resilient and they fight, which I love about this Knicks team.
Yeah.
It sucks that they're coming up short, considering they're, very short-handed as a squad altogether. Salute Coach SAR 617. He said Deuce needs a big playmaker in the backcourt with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Diva Lux has been saying that Deuce tends to play better playing with Brunson on the floor.
Yeah, he
Um,
does.
it's like he has that big mentor, and it boosts his confidence being able to play with him. I think also Deuce is also watching the game, not just the game, but watching Brunson.
And studying it. Yeah.
Yeah, and Deuce will get better. He definitely is gonna get better, and but I agree. I do think that he needs that big playmaker with him on the floor. And I'm hoping that he could also get better with the ball handling skills in the off season and work on that. And be able to be, I don't need you to be fancy, but you got to be able to be a bit crafty. And that's what I mean with Burks when he brings the ball up. It's so basic, you know. I don't know. I think like when you
Well,
watch, you understand what I mean.
well, hopefully in the off season we could get somebody, because right about now there's nobody that's capable of being the point guard, outside of Brunson.
Yeah. That's why I think the front office has to work on. They have to
Oh,
work on bringing in a backup point guard to Brunson because this can't continue
legitimate.
next season where you have Brunson playing, 40 plus minutes a game. He needs a solid somebody who we can comfortably be like, okay, he can come in for a couple of minutes. We know he could bring the ball up, he could run the plays. That's why I said I think the Knicks should have went after more like a Kyle Lowry. I would have felt more comfortable with him bringing up the ball. You know what I mean? Like, no, he may not be as quick. I wasn't for him initially, but now that I think about it, I'm like, I think that would have been the better move over Burks, bringing in Burks. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah,
just
for
felt like
sure.
he would have been a better solid backup to Brunson bringing up the ball. He has good court vision. He would have been able to, pass the ball to whoever needed it. We need the ball to get to. He can shoot. He can drive to the basket. I just would have been a lot more comfortable. We would have gotten a guy like Laurie as a backup then.
But if that's the case, you could have got Laurie and DeRozan would have been nice also.
Hmm.
There's a lot of what ifs and who they could have and should have and would have.
Yeah, I just think that I just said Deuce is a better shooting guard than um point guard. Yeah. But so is Burks.
Yeah.
I think that they're better getting the ball in their hand and shooting. Yeah, I agree, Rodney Coleman. Deuce is a student of the game. Every year he's going to add to his arsenal. Agreed. He is going to grow. And we've seen that with Deuce. I think what really helped Deuce was him going from bouncing back from G League to the NBA and like playing both. And I think that he really sat there and watched the game and not sat there eagerly to get in the game. And when he got in the game, he was ready. He was chucking up a shot, but when we watched him get in now, we see like, wow, he was really studying the game while he was sitting on the bench and figuring out where he can come in and be a contributing factor to the game. Um, I don't know how I feel about Dante bringing up the ball.
Yeah.
And I've seen it. I don't like it. Not a fan of it. And it's not honestly, it looks better than what Burks is doing, but I'm just not crazy about Dante DiVincenzo bringing the ball up. I'm just I don't know. I'm not crazy about it. I like Dante ready to get the ball and either drive or shoot and do what he do and go to work from there. But yeah, Laurie would have been a better fit. Um, yeah, I would have even taken Patty Mills
Yeah.
to run. I just think right now, as backup point guard position, we are very weak in that category. The Knicks do not have a solid backup to Jalen Brunson. Someone with the skill set and the basketball IQ. We don't need somebody who's still working on their game or who's a student of the game to bring the ball up. We need somebody who has experience playing a true point guard position who can bring the ball up. And right now, the Knicks don't really they don't have that. Yeah, Dante does it here and there. I've seen him do it. I've seen Josh Hart bring up the ball sometimes when they need him to, but I just don't. I don't. The Knicks got him. I don't know. I did not like them bringing Burks. It's just like when we brought Taj Gibson. It's given very much desperate. I don't know what is the point of us. Some of these guys that we bring in. AJ said Patty Mills is available. Yeah, I think the Knicks need something to happen, some kind of change, because
They need a spark or something.
yeah, they need somebody who can come in and because right now it's three guys carrying the load: DiVincenzo, Jalen Brunson, and who am I missing? And
Hart, Brunson, and
Josh Hart.
DiVincenzo.
Yeah, and Josh Hart. Those are the three guys carrying the load. That's not enough. John 17 said Patty Mills and Shake Milton are both available. Both can bring it up. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
Milton also. Yeah, that's what we need, guys who are actually point guard ready, not guys who are still working on their game and they got to work on the ball handling skills and how to facilitate the offense and call the right plays, get out of screens. We need guys who they've been in these situations, they know what it takes, and they're ready. We need guys who are ready now. And that was part of the reason why the front office made the moves that they made. With the indecisiveness of other players, guys who just weren't fully developed yet. We don't have time for that. The Knicks are trying to move in a certain direction, and I think they had to let go of a lot of the dead weight in order for us to move forward. It's just unfortunate that the Knicks are currently dealing with injuries right now. But yeah, I think that the Knicks should look to possibly, if Alex Burke is going to play like this, I would say toss him, toss him. I mean, it's just, but we'll see. Maybe he'll make me eat my words, which I'm always for players to prove me wrong. Maybe he'll step up in tomorrow's game against Cleveland. Maybe he'll
Yeah.
step up against Atlanta. We'll see. But right now, I just don't see him being a fit on here. And I truly think another position, I think the forgotten about position the Knicks front office didn't really cater to was the backup point guard position.
Or
Because
they can
backup
have
point guard.
Burks, maybe Burks was gonna, fill that role. You never know, you know.
Yeah, yeah. But no, he's not it. He's not it. Yeah, and that's what they need. Someone who could also score. Not I don't want the Knicks to just get somebody who could bring the ball up past the half court. We already have people on the team who could do that. I need
And
somebody who's gonna be crafty, who can get to the basket, who could score, not just bring the ball up. We already have guys who can do that. So we'll see. But yeah, I think that's all for me unless Diva Locks have anything else.
no, no, I'm just excited for tomorrow's game. I'll be home to watch it.
Yeah.
I don't have to work tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'll definitely be tuned into the game. I'm curious to see what the Knicks do as a whole, as a team. And I'm rocking with my 2-1 for this upcoming week's games. I really would love for the Knicks to take tomorrow night's game. And yeah, we'll see what happens with the Knicks. I mean, I think they're desperate for some wins now. They're gonna need to pull out some, especially have a better month of March, as February was horrible. The Knicks didn't play well. They only won 4 games. So we'll see what happens. But salute to everybody who tuned into today's episode. We will be Saturday for sure will be our permanent spot where we will be on Saturday mornings. So join us. Have your tea, have your coffee, have your breakfast while you're watching us, or if you're
Smash
running,
that like button.
yeah, while you're in your car on your errands, put us on and listen to us while we're live. Like Diva Locks just said, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel for those of you who are new, who are watching, and those of you who are not in the chat and are watching. Salute to you. Tell your friend to tell a friend, tell your mama and your cousin about our show. And this channel is going to continue to grow. We're going to be having guests on as well. And I'm going to start leaving a link for the days that I am running solo dolo for any of you that are interested in joining. Please feel free. We love talking all things New York Knicks and basketball and bringing you updates. And the Knicks community is really big and it's all love amongst everybody here on YouTube. And shout out to the chat today. Knicks are nice. Just Knicks. Thank you for joining us. Walter Blackman, thank you for joining us. King Ribby RM, salute to you. Rodney Coleman, salute to you. Coach SAR 617, salute to you. Ajay, of course, salute to you. I actually got to finish listening to you guys' episode yesterday. Salute to Steph, aka Queen. But Dope Soul Sports and Knicks Talk. If those of you who don't know, I'm sure you already know. Subscribe to the channel, check them out. They're live every Monday and Fridays. J Boogie, salute to you. J Boogie is actually on Queen's introduction song, which is very catchy. It's almost like watching a show, and you know how like it has a good theme song. That theme song, that Dope Soul theme song, is very catchy. I find myself singing it when it comes on.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, it's very good, very good song. So salute to you, J Boogie. Very good, catchy song. John 17, salute to you for joining us as well. First time seeing you here and in the chat. Um, I know I got more. I'm getting to you guys. Corey Lee, salute to you for always joining and showing love. We appreciate you as well. And I think that's everybody. I don't think I missed anybody today.
What is the name for that?
Corey
Look.
Lee, I know. Corey's mad funny. Yeah, join us. We will be here. And then put your notification buttons on too, guys, so you know when we join. I usually do for the most part. I'm pretty good at putting the thumbnail up of when we're going to be back on for the next day, so that way you can see when we'll be back on, and you can see the time that we'll be on for throughout the week. But yeah, salute to everybody for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe out there, and until next time, as we always say, Nick's a nice set. I feel like Corey Lee. I'm waiting for it. Um, but yeah, salute to everybody for joining us. Those who are not in the chat who are watching for joining us, and the replay gang for watching us. We appreciate it. And until next time, as Diva Locks always says, we out of here in peace.
Peace.